Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority.
105.9 FM, WMAL. 8:07 on the Morning Majority. Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, Mary Catherine Ham here, and we have a special treat this morning. Get to talk to Chef Geoff Tracy. How's it going, Chef? I'm going to use that like an honorific, like Congressman.
Yes, thank you very much. No, everything's going great. Thank you.
Good. So you've started a little bit of a war on speed cameras. Tell me how this all started with DC speed cameras and you.
Well, they installed a new speed camera right on Foxhall Road, right where very close to where I live and very close to the sort of commute I make between my restaurants. And they installed it around Thanksgiving. And it doesn't, it just looks like a metal box. I didn't really realize that it was a speed camera, and so they actually gave out warnings for the first 30 days between the sort of Thanksgiving and December 21st, but the warnings didn't arrive until about December 29th. So I didn't know. So so December 21st, between December 21st and December 28th, I got I got 3 tickets totaling about $425.
Wow. How fast were you going, Chef?
I was going 11 miles per hour over the speed limit one time, and then 16 the other 2 times.
Wow, that's a lot of cash.
So what was your next step?
And it's a 25 mile per hour zone on a downhill.
Oh my gosh.
And coming around a corner, and it's a Foxhall Road. But at that point, it's a 2-lane road going both directions, so it doesn't feel like a 25 mile per hour zone. And it's not that's not really a residential area. It gets residential as you get further up, sort of where my neighborhood is. But that's just kind of, there's no pedestrians around there. It's not like, you're still kind of coming up Foxhall Road.
Right.
So you think this is a way that the District of Columbia is sort of increasing its revenue by zapping the people who live, the wealthy people, by the way, who live in Northwest Washington?
Oh, no, they're getting people all over the city. They put 27 new ones in the last 3 months.
Well, that's fair enough.
And, they collected $43 million last year. It's definitely just kind of buzzing people. And, quite frankly, I can pay the $450. But 2 of my bus boys got the tickets the other day, and for them, that's a full day's worth of work. One of my chefs got it. I talked to 3 guests who got it yesterday. So, a lot of people are paying the price because, quite frankly, I went too fast. The speed limit's posted. I broke the law. I get a fine, so I really can't complain. So I'm not going to complain about the fact that there's a speed camera there other than I really want to kind of point it out to people because I think $150 for going 11, 15 miles per hour over speed limit at that point is a lot of money. And so I'm going to hire a sign guy to go out there starting Saturday through the next 7 days and just kind of point out, say, hey, slow down, new speed camera ahead, $150 fines, courtesy of your neighborhood restaurant, Chef Jeff.
So hold on. We got to stop you for a second. So you're going to get some guy with a sign, one of those guys that sits on the side of the road and spins the sign so everybody can check him out, and it's going to say, hey, caution, there's a speed camera ahead? Is that what's going to happen?
That is exactly what's going to happen starting this weekend. And,
that's awesome.
All through next week. So I hired the guy for about 40 hours.
Now I have to ask you.
Over here.
I have to ask you though. I'm a little worried about this. Have you cleared this with the DC government, or is the police department? Is the city council okay with having a sign guy out on Foxhall Road?
Well, they have a sign too, but it's a real small one. It gets a little convoluted with a construction sign that they have. There's a real estate project that they're working on over there, and. The police's goal is to just get people to slow down and be aware of the speed limit in that neighborhood, and that's what the residents want. That's what everybody wants. Everybody wants public safety, and all we're trying to do by doing this is try to make sure that people know to slow down, know that there's a new speed camera there, go gentle on the gas, drive safely. And at the same time, keep $150 in your pocket.
So yes,
I love that.
If public safety is the end here for the government, for the DC government, then you are helping them out.
But if the end is to generate revenue, they may not be so happy about it.
And if the end is to generate revenue, then they probably do have a bone to pick with me. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I think this is a great idea, and then I think you ought to send this guy to other cameras around town as a public service of your restaurants.
It is. It might be an interesting form of advertising in the future.
That's right.
I love
Courtesy
it.
of Chef Jeff.
Well, thanks for joining us. Keep us posted. I want to know, especially if you hear any feedback from any government official that they don't like your sign guy. All right.
I'm sure they'll be big fans.
Geoff Tracy joining us here with the Morning Majority. He says he can't complain because he broke the speed limit. I'll complain. The fact that it's 25-mile-an-hour speed limit there and it's two lanes, and if it is downhill, I mean, it's absurd that there could be a speed camera there. That if you're going 36 miles an hour, you get hit with a $150 fine.
That seems a little high.
Well, the reliable source at the Washington Post spoke to the PD folks,
Right.
And the spokeswoman says, "Is that okay? Sure, I guess."
I guess, right.
They're basically like, we make no secret of where the cameras are. If somebody wants to advertise it, fine. But there have been cases along these lines where people have advertised speed traps and that kind of thing and gotten in trouble. But I love this kind of community activism. Huge fan.
Remember how they used to, when you'd be on the highway and there would be a state patrolman running a speed trap,
trap,
and
right.
you'd blink your lights?
What do you mean used to?
Well, still do.
You don't do that?
No, I still do.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I still do. But I mean, you can't. There have been cases
I
where
know.
people have been pulled over and given a ticket for that.
That's right. There are some rules in different states about when you can flash your lights and when you cannot flash your light, similar to what we were talking about earlier this morning about when you can honk your horn, when you cannot honk your horn. And I'm telling you right now,
chastened.
I'm telling you right now, all right, they may not go after Chef Geoff Tracy at this point because, all right, he's kind of made a deal out of this and people would be upset if they get him. But if you put out a guy with a sign spinning stuff around on the side of the road, I got a feeling that somebody in the D.C. government is not going to take too kindly to that and they're going to crack down on it.
There will be a sign ordinance magically that someone finds. But Chef Jeff is a very well-respected and well-liked businessman in D.C., so he's quite a public figure to tangle with.
And I wouldn't be surprised either if there were some residents around Foxhall Road that said, "Well, we can't have this sign there. This is not."
I love it.
We'll see where this goes. I mean, this could be
Huge fan.
I bet they're not opposed to
I will
it.
donate to creating future jobs for sign spinners at other speed
I think it's a brilliant idea. By the way, there's a new one going up on Clopper Road in Gaithersburg, in case anybody knows.
Yeah, but in Montgomery County, I have to say, I've only got a couple in Montgomery County. It was only $40. It wasn't 150.
150
No,
is
That's a whoo, man, that'll hurt you.
I mean, I tell you what.
I got to pay for that community whatever conference they want to have.
I get one one every month from someplace.
Slow it down. I mean, come on, you got to figure out where they are by now. That's the other thing. I don't think it's safe, to be honest with you, because when people know where it is, they hit the brakes and then they slow down. They're going 50 miles an hour. All of a sudden, boom, they know that there's a speed camera up and they slow down to 30 miles an hour. I think it's more of an issue than it is helping safety.
Well, we'll take your calls on what you think about all this coming up.